Hey everyone, welcome to today's Biology Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here because today we're looking at something you carry around with you literally every single day, probably without giving it much thought. We're going to explore your body's built-in microscopic manufacturing plant. Yep, we're talking about the incredible biology behind your fingernails and toenails. So grab a seat, get ready to take some mental notes, and let's tour the fascinating keratin factory. Seriously, have you ever stopped to wonder about this? Whether you're sound asleep in your bed, studying hard for a math test, or just out playing with your friends, your nails are constantly getting longer. It's this continuous biological mystery happening right at the tips of your fingers. You don't have to consciously tell your body to do it. It just happens, day in and day out. Okay, let's dive into this and solve exactly how this everyday miracle actually works. So here's our quick class syllabus for today's factory tour. We'll start with a welcome to the factory, then step 1, the nail matrix, step 2, making keratin, step 3, speed and variables, and finally we'll wrap up with the purpose of nails.
All right, let's jump right in with section 1. Welcome to the factory.
Before we get into the heavy biology, I actually want you to just hold up your hands and look at your fingers for a second. Look right down at the base of your nails, just under that little ridge of skin, the cuticle. That exact spot is home to a really crucial vocabulary word for today's lesson, the nail matrix. The nail matrix is this tiny hidden region right beneath your skin that basically acts as the control center or the factory floor, producing all of your nail cells. You can't see it, but this tiny factory is literally working around the clock. Whether you're on summer vacation or fast asleep, the nail matrix never clocks out. Moving right along to section 2, step 1, the nail matrix. Okay, so now that we know where the factory is located, we need to figure out what kind of material it's so busy manufacturing. The main product being made here is a super tough protein called keratin. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that keratin isn't just found in your nails. It's actually the exact same tough protein that makes up your hair, as well as the entire outer layer of your skin. Your body is incredibly efficient, reusing this same durable building block all over the place to give you structure and protection. Which brings us to section 3, step 2, making keratin. So we've got the location and we know the product. Now let's actually look at the biological assembly line where the physical growth happens. Here's the chronological life cycle of a nail cell. First up, deep inside the nail matrix, brand new living cells are constantly being created. But there's obviously limited space in there. So step 2, as these fresh cells form, they literally have nowhere to go but out, physically pushing the older cells forward. And finally, step 3, as those older cells get pushed further and further away from the matrix, they become hard and compact. This hardened shield of older cells is the visible nail that you can actually see and tap on a desk. And that brings up a really common question, one I know a lot of us probably wondered about when we were little. Why doesn't it hurt when we cut our nails? So the crucial point is that by the time those cells are pushed all the way out and become hard, visible nails, they aren't living anymore. The visible part of your nail is actually made of entirely dead cells. And because they're dead, they have no nerve endings. That's exactly why using nail clippers is completely painless, while the living cells stay safely hidden and protected beneath your skin in the matrix. All right, section 4, step 3, speed and variables. Every factory has a production rate, right? So let's look at the data and see how fast these cells actually travel. The magic number here is 3 millimeters. On average, your fingernails grow at a rate of about 3 millimeters per month. It's a very slow, very steady pace. But interestingly, your toenails grow much more slowly than that. If you've ever noticed you have to clip your fingernails way more often than your toenails, well, biology totally backs you up. But why the difference? Scientists believe fingernails grow faster than toenails simply because our hands are used a lot more often, which leads to better blood circulation. And this brilliantly illustrates a core biological principle. Blood flow is essentially the delivery system for your body's factories. Better circulation brings more vital nutrients and oxygen directly to the nail matrix, which allows it to manufacture that keratin at a much faster rate. Okay, class, time for a little secret science trivia. Did you know that out of all your fingers, your middle fingernail usually grows the fastest? Seriously, why is that? Well, scientists believe it comes down to a combination of anatomy and resources. The middle finger typically has a larger nail matrix, meaning a bigger factory floor, and it receives excellent blood flow. So you combine more factory space with more nutrient delivery, and you get the fastest growing nail on your hand.
Now, keep in mind that 3 mm average isn't a strict rule for everyone. There are environmental and biological variables that act as fuel or speed limits for our keratin factory. Age is a big one. Young people like you usually have faster growing nails. The season matters too. Nails actually tend to grow a little faster in the warmer months. And of course, nutrition is absolutely key. To build strong keratin, your factory needs raw materials, specifically healthy foods rich in protein, vitamins, and minerals. Basically, your overall health directly impacts the speed and quality of your factory's output.
Almost done here. Section 5, the purpose of nails. We learned all about how this complicated assembly line works, but why did human beings even evolve to have these hard plates of dead cells on our fingers and toes in the first place? Well, nails aren't just there for appearance or to be painted with fun colors. They serve vital evolutionary purposes and act as essential everyday tools. First and foremost, they act as a hard shield to protect the really sensitive tips of our fingers and toes from injury. But they also provide a rigid backing that helps us grip objects securely. They let us do simple things like scratch a really annoying itch, and they give us the precision we need to perform delicate tasks, like picking up a tiny coin off a flat table or peeling a piece of fruit. So, the next time you look down at your hands or grab a pair of nail clippers, I want you to remember the amazing, non-stop process happening right at your fingertips. Your body is full of these incredible, hidden systems working tirelessly to keep you functioning. Which leaves us with one final thought for today's class. If your tiny keratin factory never takes a single day off, what other invisible assembly lines do you think are working inside of you right now? Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next explainer.